show us you got New England pride. Show us you've got New England pride. Stand up, shout out, show us you got New England pride. Show us you've got New England pride. New England pride. Hey kids, LePage here, and welcome to another episode of New England Pride TV. I want to start off by saying a huge congratulations to our nominees for Person of the Year. We have James Morgrage from Club Cafe in Boston, Elijah Emmanuel Hughes, who's a teacher, Joey DeMauro, who is the creator of Stay Fearless, Peter Mack, who's an entertainer, Laura Farnsworth from Safe Homes, and the winner of New England Pride TV Person of the Year 2017 is Grace Stevens, two-time author, motivational speaker, a fierce advocate for the transgender community. So congratulations to you, Grace. Grace will be our co-host on our June episode of New England Pride TV. We're going to jump right over to our Pride Pet segment. This month we're going to be featuring on an organization called Second Chance Animal Shelter, located in East Brookfield, Mass. The phone number is 508-867-5525, and they are a nationally recognized organization. They are a no-kill shelter, and they are a non-profit charitable 501c3 organization. You can find out more about them by going to Second Chance Animal Shelter on the web. The two pets that we're going to focus on today are, let's see, this little guy's name is Henry. Henry is a 7-year-old pit bull mix. He is great with people and loves meeting new people. He is crate trained, and if you want to relax and curl up on the couch with somebody, Henry is your guy. He is very lovable. And look at that face. Next, we have Trip. This goofy grin belongs to Trip, a 4-year-old Australian cattle dog. He is a very sweet boy who should do well in most homes, and he does need to lose a little bit of weight, so they were hoping he would go to a more active family. That means he won't be coming to my house because all we'd be doing is watching Hallmark movies and eating potato chips. So sorry, Trip. We'll be back with more New England Pride after this.
New England Pride TV is brought to you by the Hanover Theater for the Performing Arts, Remax Vision, Bay State Savings Bank, Safe Homes, Cruise Planners, Paul Chasen Interior Design, Nuovo Restaurant, S. Bergman's Consignment and Gift Boutique, Dr. Frank P. Fetchner Plastic Surgery, and Crown Bakery.
We're here now with our guest, Rebecca Lynch, who's going to talk to us about the bridge and Safe Homes and an event called Cinco de Marvelous. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Cinco de Marvelous is a marvelous name.
It is.
Who came up with that?
Actually, my colleague, Karen Landry, came up with it when we decided to have the event on May 5th. She said, well, you know, that's Cinco de Mayo, and then the committee came up with Cinco de Marvelous.
Which is really clever.
Yes, it is.
Now, first of all, let's start by talking a little bit about the bridge.
Okay. We are a nonprofit organization based in Worcester, but we have programs as far east as Hyde Park. We support people with a wide variety of issues in their lives, everything from mental health issues to developmental disabilities, acquired brain injury, homelessness. And, but one of our programs, one of our more than 50 programs, is called Safe Homes, and it is a program that supports LGBTQ youth in the Worcester area.
In what way do you support them? It's called Safe Homes. Do you find them safe homes?
No, although down the line, who knows, but actually we have a drop-in program on Thursday nights at our headquarters on 4 Man Street in Worcester. And the kids come in and they meet friends and they get education, they get support.
And it's a safe space.
It is safe. It is a place where everybody's accepted, where kids who are, trying to figure out maybe who they are and how they feel are accepted exactly for who they are that week, for the next week and subsequent weeks. And what happens at Safe Homes is the kids get that support and then they get that feeling and they go into their weeks and back to their homes, back to their schools, back into their communities. And it's a place where they can be themselves and feel confident and be supported.
Now, when I was first, over a year ago, when I was first thinking about undertaking a show like this, New England Pride TV, before I even began anything, I went around to colleges and I went to schools and I met with Gay Straight Alliances, and I also went to Safe Homes. I don't know if you were there that night. I met with Laura Farnsworth and about 30 different kids. And I went there, and it was my first, I guess, my first time being there and finding out what it was really about and being there. And the kids were just so happy to be there and with each other. And I met some great counselors. You have counselors there.
Peer leaders.
Peer leaders, that's a better way to say it. And it was such a warm, inviting, fun environment, and that's wonderful. Now, and while I was also there, I met with a group called PFLAG. And do you know what PFLAG is? Parents of gays and lesbians, and it's a support group for them. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. And I spent some time. All of this is happening in that same building, and it was just overwhelming to me, the support that these kids were given, and I was so happy to see that. And when I signed on to do this show, I reached out to Safe Homes and to be a part of the show, and they were one of the first ones on board. They were said, "This is way overdue. Let's do this." And I got to meet the people on the staff and the people that are planning Cinco de Marvelous, which is wonderful. I didn't know it's a fundraiser for the bridge or Safe Homes or both? Or?
No, it's a fundraiser specifically for Safe Homes. Safe Homes is entirely run on donations, and this is our major fundraiser of the year. It's a way to get our name out into the community, but also to recognize the leaders in the community who have done so much. We take in nominations every year for a variety of areas, and this year we're going to be giving out several awards.
I was very excited because I can see somebody who I admire right there. Who's
Maura Healey, our Attorney General in Massachusetts. She's going to be accepting the Social Justice Advocacy and Action Award.
That's pretty amazing.
We are over the moon. It's really exciting, and particularly right now, she's always been quite a hero, but right now, boy, she is dedicated to supporting this community, and she does not back down, and we are delighted to have her on board.
Now, if any of our viewers at home do not know who Maura Healey is, please Google her because you should know who she is. Now, the event has been going on for how many years?
Oh my goodness.
Your big gala.
Our big gala, over 20 years.
Over 20 years?
It
oh
has.
My God.
And
it's growing and growing.
It is growing. Last year we sold out 2 weeks in advance. And so we had to change venues, so we will be at the Beechwood Hotel this year in Worcester.
Which is a beautiful space.
We're so excited.
Yeah.
We're so excited. And you can sign up online. We're accepting sponsorships.
Yes, we're accepting sponsorships for this event.
We are.
Hint, hint.
And we also have other award winners. Can I talk about that?
You can, if it's not too embarrassing, because let me just, full disclosure, I am being given an award today from the Safe Homes for my work for New England Pride TV and the staff, so thank you for that.
Absolutely, and for all you do in the community. It's not just Pride TV, but you are a shining light in the. I know, I'm sorry.
A twinkling star.
But you do so much, and we were delighted. And when your name came up, everybody said, "This is Dale's year." So we're here, and you are going to be performing.
The LePage and the Manhattans will be performing this year. I'm very excited about that.
It's going to be great.
Anything I can do to help this great organization.
Thank you. Yeah. What we've discovered is last year we did a video as part of the entertainment.
Yes, a very touching video.
Well, and what we did was we sat down with several of the young people we support, and across the board they all said, if it weren't for Safe Homes, I don't know if I'd be alive today.
Wow. Yeah, that was the general takeaway from that video.
Well, it's such a tender age, and maybe they aren't supported at home, and maybe they aren't supported in their schools, or maybe they are, are, but the truth is they come to Safe Homes and they get support and they're heard, and they come out with confidence and the ability to speak up and to write letters and to be active in the community. It's really extraordinary work.
And this is a wonderful organization, so people should be supporting this great place. So if people at home watching,
Yes.
which they are, tell them the website they can go to get tickets for the Cinco de Marvelous Gala.
At Safe Homes, www.safehomesma.org. You can sign up online. You can also go to the Bridge website, which is www.thebridgecm.org, and you can sign up there as well. And if you are interested in a sponsorship, you can email me. I'm Rebecca Lynch, rebecca.lynch@thebridgecm.org.
All right, got all that in there? Good, that's important.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for
and
having
telling
me.
us about this incredible organization and what they do and what their mission statement is. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting New England Pride TV.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
Hey babies, it's me, Miss Lady Sabrina. We're back with another letter. Hi, Dale. Dear Lady Sabrina, a guy I work with thinks I'm straight. I have told him twice in conversation my wife is a guy and her is a him, but he thought I was joking. And now he has talked about my wife, her, or she a couple of times now, and I just let it go. Should I just keep letting it go or correct him again? And if I correct him for the third time after letting the others pass, how do I do it without awkwardness? I don't hide. I've even shown my coworkers my wedding photos, though I have never shown them to him. And I don't like feeling like I'm closeted again. Please help. Awkward at work. Okay. Dear Awkward at Work, the question that is the big concern is, are you letting these comments slide due to your fear of what he will say or the whole office? If this is just about him, then it's pretty simple. Put your wedding photos on your desk and trust me, he'll catch himself real quick without you having to say anything. I would correct all future comments or just ask him about his husband if he continues. If you approach it like you're breaking some bad news, then you need to look at how you see your sexuality. People generally feed off of the vibes that you're putting out. So if you're putting out there that you think you need to be ashamed, then closer inspection is needed. This is not to say that homophobia doesn't exist. I mean, but you need to set the framework for respect. I would love to say that there's a way to do this without some level of awkwardness, but it's already awkward. Congratulations, though, on getting married. It's wonderful to see this in my lifetime, and I wish you and your husband all the best. And on your anniversary, make sure you invite me, because I love cake. With that, let me know if you need anything else. All right? Love and light, Lady Sabrina.
We're joined now by comedian Amy T., who I got to meet last year at a sold-out event called Laughs for Limes, put on by Michelle Miller. Hi, Michelle. I know she watches the show. And you were so amazing. I walked up to you and I said, please come on New England Pride TV. And you said, how much do you pay? And I said, nothing. You said, I'm going to come there anyway.
I'll be there.
So
absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Your comedy was so good. Let's start off by saying, where do you find your inspiration for your, do you write all your own material?
I write all my own material, and whatever's going on at the time in my life is where I pull my material from. I find that easy because you can't steal it because it's mine.
It's mine.
And it's just so relatable for me that I'm able to talk about it with passion, and it's authentic, and that's me.
Now, I heard some comedy material about working in a restaurant or a diner.
Yes.
And I thought they were, I didn't know you really worked in a restaurant. Your family owns a restaurant.
My family owns a breakfast restaurant, yes. I think I was born, my mom has been in the restaurant business her entire life, so I was basically born in the business. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 30 years, and so I can pull some material from there. for sure.
About the customers, about the
customers, the whole environment. Yeah, a lot of customers for sure.
What's the name of the restaurant? Where is it?
It's called Breakfast Cafe in Bradford, Mass. And yeah, it's just breakfast only. I like to. I work in the kitchen.
Now, are you a comedian waitress or?
Oh no, God no! They would never put me with the public. Nobody wants me actually dealing with the public and talking to them because they enjoy the business. But so I work in the kitchen and I cover all the menu and I change the menu. I like to say that I bump up breakfast a little bit more than your average.
Place.
Absolutely. I like to get very creative with my menu and see what I can do to make breakfast a little bit more, I don't know, intriguing and different.
Now, how long have you been doing that?
Literally 30 years.
30 years.
Yep. I owned my own when I was in my 20s for a while, and then I sold that, and then we got back. And then as a only child in the family business, you take over. That's what you do. Exactly.
Now, when did you start doing comedy?
I started doing comedy almost 14 years ago.
And you said, "Hey, I'm funny. I want to try this," or do people say you should be? Or
yeah, I started. I had a couple people kind of push me towards it, and then it was just something that I knew I wanted to cross off my bucket list. I remember being in high school watching VH1 Stand Up Spotlight and Rosie O'Donnell, and I felt that passion inside somewhere. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to cross it off my bucket list. I did my first show, fell in love.
What was your first show like? Were you?
It was sold out. It was my very first 5 minutes that I ever wrote. I took a class at a local community college. Now I teach the class.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And it was just the energy in the room and that just feeling like I knew I belonged on stage. And
it's where you want to be.
And yeah, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
People don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I feel most comfortable when I am on stage with the band. That's when I feel most comfortable. It's out in the real world that I have a problem, and not that that's not the real world, but you get that, right?
More than you know. Like people don't understand. I'm extremely shy in real life. I have a hard time holding conversations and stuff. But when I have that microphone and spotlight in my hand, I'm in my element.
Now let's segue from that to two different organizations.
Yes.
Let's start with National Alliance on Mental Health Illness.
So NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is a nationwide organization, I got involved in 5 years ago after I was diagnosed with mental illness. I was diagnosed bipolar disorder, and after I was diagnosed, it really made a lot of sense to the previous 30 years of my life of some chaos and disruption, and I was like, okay, so now that I know what I have, I wanted to know everything about it,
right?
How I could cure it, why I had it, so on and so forth. So I got involved with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and now I am a peer-to-peer mentor. I teach classes. I speak at local hospitals and colleges and different organizations in the community just on my own experience with living with mental illness and my recovery. I've been very diligent. My substance abuse was a big part of, I believe, why I suffered so long, and so I got sober, got involved in the National Alliance on Mental Illness, got the treatment that I needed, and now I live a healthy, happy, normal life.
And now you're helping so many others.
And that, for me, is like the biggest thing. It's like I know, like when I wake up in the morning and I'm going to go and speak to an organization or a hospital or a college, that I made a difference in the world for the day.
You absolutely do.
And it's kind of nice. I'm married to a psych nurse.
Well, you touched on that in your comedy routine,
Yes.
which was great.
Yes, it's like in-home care.
Now, where did you meet your wife?
I met my wife. Ironically enough, I was 2 months sober. We were both at Boston Pride, biggest drunk fest of the year for the gays and lesbians. The only other woman at the bar ordering water.
Oh.
We made eye contact, and the rest is history.
And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning of the
And
best
when you
decision
found out what she did for a living was a psych nurse, did you say, match made in heaven?
Yeah, absolutely. This is perfect.
I'm sure she's watching. Say hello.
Hi, Annie. Oh,
now, let's get back to the comedy for a second, because I recently saw on Facebook that well, first of all, pretty much all your shows are sold out, and I think that's amazing. You recently were pictured with a comedy legend,
right?
right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I worked with Gilbert Godfrey, sold out. It was standing room only. People would just line up against the walls.
Yeah.
Somebody that grew up kind of watching him and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's like meeting an idol, right?
It really was. It was definitely my starstruck moment for sure.
Wonderful.
It was exciting.
Now let's talk about the experimental comedy therapy.
So after I was diagnosed and I got involved with the National Alliance of Mental Illness, I started an organization called Experimental Comedy Therapy, or ECT, as we know is electroconvulsive therapy is the acronyms, which I think,
Yes, switch it around.
Yeah, and I figured, like laughter I feel is vital to anybody's mental health and
That's how
mental
we deal with a lot, right?
Yeah, I think you have to,
Yeah.
especially in the current state of affairs. So I born ECT and to play off that electroconvulsive therapy, and then I go in and I run organizations and fundraisers that will help anybody in the mental health community, an individual struggling, or the National Alliance of Mental Illness, whatever that I can be of service for to give back.
Now, can all this information be found on your website?
Yep, which is experimentalcomedy.com. And ECT is also the acronym that I try to live my life, be responsible for the energy I bring into the world, and practice compassion and tolerance.
Just a pleasure.
Thank you so
just
much.
an absolute pleasure
Thank you
spending
very much
time
for
with you
having me. I
today.
appreciate it.
Please go to Amy's website, find out where she's going to be doing her comedy, and we'll be back with more. Hey kids, welcome back to New England Pride TV. I'm joined now with Joe Mangiacotti and the ever lovable Teddy. On this Out with Joe segment, we're going to talk about the importance of the LGBTQ social clubs. Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, the social clubs or events has just exploded in the last few years, and it's so important because no longer do we center around that windowless numbered bar that was the local gay bar back in the day. Now there are potluck dinners and movie nights and even camping and hiking clubs.
Okay,
but what we're going to do is we're going to look at a very organic club, a breakfast club of Central Massachusetts. Started out as just friends getting together a few years ago, has grown to a huge bi-monthly event. And the other thing that we find out, Dale, is when we talk to the businesses, they love having LGBTQ events of any type.
Who doesn't love that extra revenue, right?
It's a great revenue source, plus they love the people.
Right.
And you'll be able to hear an extended version of the interview on NewEnglandPride.tv.
Okay, terrific. Let's hear what you have to say today.
Great.
It's time to go out with Joe.
On this month's Out with Joe on New England Pride TV, we take a look at the importance of LGBTQ social groups. We have seen the number of social groups and events grow over the past few years. Websites like Meetup grow at a steady rate. Out with Joe caught up with Worcester Pride President Peter Bacchiocchi.
Important that we have events for the LGBTQ community. Always nice to be able to integrate with anybody and everybody. There are just times when it's also nice to be among people who are more like yourself. So just like any kind of a group that exists in the world, it's just nice sometimes to just be able to socialize with folks who understand who you are and where you're coming from. Not just empathize and not just be okay with who you are, but actually know who you are and can understand and relate.
A quick search on Facebook and the net, you'll find events such as happy hours, holiday parties, dance, hiking, potlucks, movie nights, music, comedy nights, camping, and so much more.
Probably in the past 5 years, definitely been an increase, because prior to that, honestly, you pretty much went to one of the clubs, one of the bars. That was the core of the social life. But now there's a lot of variety. You can go to breakfast, you can go have a special, event that's going on. Absolutely a lot more that's available, and all year, not just surrounding Pride events.
Myself and many of those active in the LGBTQ community in Central Massachusetts are faithful to the Central Mass LGBTQ and Friends Breakfast Club. But the interesting thing about this bi-weekly breakfast club, it started out as just a few friends meeting up for breakfast every couple of weeks. We caught up with its founder, Ed LeBlanc.
The group got together, we were friends at first, going from breakfast place to breakfast place, and we also got together other than that. Then as we grew, we couldn't go from place to place because there wasn't a place big enough to hold us.
Now that the club will meet every other Sunday, it has grown to a regular attendance of 20 plus and has seen the group get as large as 50 persons. This has seriously limited the options.
Very difficult to find a place now. We can't really move around. Right now we meet at the old post office pub in Grafton because of their size. So for us, size does matter.
Venues are very eager to have LGBTQ events. We also caught up with our regular post office pub waitress, Judy.
They're a great tribute to our company. I'd love to have more groups like this. They're personable, they're kind, they're great customers, and I feel that they're good for us. I think they would be good for any business. They're really a great bunch of people.
The reality of it is now the nondescript, windowless local bar is no longer the only option for the community to meet and mingle. For Out with Joe and New England Pride TV, I'm Joe Mangiacotti.
We've come to the end of another episode of New England Pride TV. Once again, I'm joined by the lovely Tina, who, if you don't know, is the backbone of the show. She is a tireless worker, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Dale.
How are things going with your radio show, The Music Minute?
Great, it's fun. I love to cover local music and bands. We cover venues in and around Central Mass, and it can be heard on AM radio, 8:30 on your dial at 7:30 in the morning on Saturdays.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Now we're going to end the show right now by saying what we always say, please don't be afraid to shine your light.
Because you might be lighting the way for someone else.
And we're going to leave you now with some music from the great Carol O'Shaughnessy.